Welcome back to Attack on Titan Anime Review episode number 30. This one basically reviewing the 62nd episode of the anime, which is called The War of Hope. This episode pretty much finishes up what was cut out from chapters 94 and 95. Yeah, mostly the flashback stuff. And from what I can tell, they also adapted 90, 96 and 97. For 96, they pretty much kept mostly everything in. They did make some trims here and there. But mostly they adapted the entire freaking chapter, a 40-page chapter. For 97, they adapted most of this chapter. They stopped at a certain point. Pretty much at that point was going to set up basically the stuff that's going to set up the end of this particular arc. Yep, what is the flashback stuff, mind you? Yes. We pretty much have basically a slight change in the manga. Now, in the manga, basically, Barnet talked to his mother about stuff people were abandoned and stuff like that. In the manga, basically, he was sitting on his mother's lap. In the anime, he was lying in bed, he was under the covers, and his mother basically was just sitting next to his bedside, on the bed, basically telling him all this. Okay, slight change basic positioning, but it's still the same dialogue. And then we show various other stuff, like the fact that he got picked on, apparently prior to being chosen as the Armor Titan. And we also see that stuff was done from 96, where him, Barnet, and Annie are chosen as the host for the Armor, Colossus Titan, and the Female Titan. Surprisingly, Annie is shown being chosen first as the Female Titan. We see Reiner basically being chosen as the Armor Titan, and Barnet be chosen as the Colossal Titan. Now, when they later on revealed basically these characters were what the actual time shift before they did this stuff here, Annie makes sense because she kind of looks like it. Reiner, it was not exactly completely obvious that he was the Armor Titan. In the case of Barnet being the Colossal Titan, yeah, that one made completely some sense to do. Though they did change exactly how he transformed into Titan in the actual manga, in the anime, where usually he likes the people when they do the Titan shift, usually just bite their hand. That's what they do a lot of the time. Well, in the anime, apparently just poke a hole in his finger and just transform into the Colossal Titan. And of course, well, some people are upset the fact they chose freaking kids basically to be the the host of these particular Titans. And then pretty much they show basically these three alone with Marcel, who is the host of the Jaw Titan. They do show the Card Titan in this particular flashback. I forgot to mention back in the actual episode 1. Because the Card Titan was there. Yes, the Card Titan is a woman. Yep, the Card Titan's a woman. Which kind of makes it one of 2 Titans I can think of in the series. Well, 2 Titan shifters where the host is a woman. Well, actually one of 3. The Warhammer Titan is also a woman. I'm not going to say who it is just yet because they're probably going to show her off basically in the very next episode, which is going to be exciting to say the least. Yep, and then they show them arrive at the island, and they show something that's been shown a couple times in flashback in this series. Basically, Marcel, this is actually a friend of theirs, being eaten by a smaller Titan, who turns out to be Ymir. Yes, she ate the Jaw Titan in order to transform into a human form. Yep, that's pretty much what she did. Though apparently she didn't eat him properly, so she wasn't able to maintain this form for very long, per se. No. Though she was stuck in Titan form for about 80 years. Like a long time she was stuck in Titan form. And of course, also the thing with Ymir, it was very heavily hinted at in the series. Heck, even mentioned in a letter that Ymir had a thing for basically Historia. Though also, Reiner had a thing for her too. Yep. And Barnet had a thing for Annie. Yep. Now, mostly, but when they arrive in there, like right after the whole Jaw Titan thing, they pretty much kind of fill in the gap exactly what the heck we show. We see some stuff basically. If you're a fan of the series, you actually do see some stuff basically. Oh yeah, I remember that stuff from the pilot episode. I mean, it was, of course, we already knew that Barnet was the Colossal Titan. Now they do make a cut here, yes. Because in the manga, in order how they get to where they are, it was Annie who transformed into the female Titan to basically get them where they are to attack, basically, Walmaria. Yeah, Walmaria, where they do show that Barnet basically, like after he broke the wall, we kicked it, And then he gets out and he turns around, and what does he see? The Smiling Titan. Yes, the very same Titan that ate Aaron's mother. As a matter of fact, Aaron is seen here in flashback, because apparently when he was arriving on the island, that apparently was the same time the Army was bringing Aaron a book about the outside the wall stuff. So yeah, we get a bit of a tie-in basically of like intersplicing stuff what happened back in the pilot. It's him, we see Reiner from the inside when he does this stuff back in the pilot episode, which was awesome. The fact they showed it. Yes, I know showing the manga too, but it was pure awesome. It's the fact they showed it. The only cut they made here is the fact that he was surrounded by actual Titans after this. Yeah, for some reason they cut this from the actual anime, probably because it probably wouldn't have been good to see that the Armor Titan, one of the most badass Titan shifters in the entire series, where he pretty much is nearly killed by other Titans. And they show him waking up later in the very same, I would say the same building that Mikasa, Armin, and Eren are at when they later on decide to join the Survey Corps. And of course, do show when they join the Survey Corps. That portion comes at the end, I think it's chapter 96, I think it did. Yeah, it was 96 when it happened. And then pretty much we show that what they're doing like off screen during the first arc of the series. Yeah, mostly put what basically Reiner, Barnett, and Annie were up to during some off screen moments, like them basically have a conversation when Nope is around. Basically have Reiner wake up Barnett from basically sleeping on this weird position that he was sleeping in. And then we also see briefly of him interacting with Eren when he I think it was when they were doing the first time they were trying out the 3D maneuver gear. Yeah. And then we cut back to present day, where we see a man who was actually Reiner trying to blow his own head off. Yes, for some reason Reiner thinks this is a good idea to do. He just puts bullets in the rifle, put the barrel of the gun in his mouth, and he's about to pull the trigger. Then he hears bang on the wall. I think it's actually Falco doing this. And he's upset about him not being chosen to be the successor to the Armor Titan, because Gab basically has been sort of in the way shoehorned in, basically written and penciled in to basically become a successor to Reiner. And then he walks to the hospital. He just walks along, comes by the hospital, and talks to the long hair guy, who's actually Eren. And they chat for a while, and he basically is quite happy with the fact this kid is not going to be chosen to be the Armor Titan. Probably because he knows the Armor Titan really well. You know, I know this is Eren. Heck, they even show the man's eye. If you're familiar with Eren, yeah, this is Eren. And this episode kind of confirms it in a way. But basically, subtle hints. Next week's episode is probably going to be the big action piece that people probably be anticipating since the first episode season, which is that big action-packed battle. And it might happen next week or could happen week after. Yeah, but they're basically breezing through this arc pretty quickly. For an arc that was roughly 16 chapters, they've already covered in just 3 episodes. They've already covered the first 6 chapters, which is not all that surprising, the fact they covered this much. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, though, for an arc that's roughly 16 episodes, that it might take up the first half of the season. Though the current arc is quite lengthy, at almost 30 chapters, and it's still not over yet. Yeah, but my hope is that... Now here's the thing about this season that I had mentioned once before. From what I heard online, that the episode count for this season is going to be 16 episodes. Which I think that's a terrible idea, given how much material there is adapt. Which... yeah, they should basically increase it. If I were them, I would probably increase it a little more than 16 episodes. I would bring it to frickin' 22 or even 24 for that. Make it almost the same like the season 1. It doesn't have to be 16 episodes. But in the case of basically how the way the series looks so far, in just 3 episodes, Mappa has done a fantastic job with the season so far. Even though, yes, we are 3 episodes in. We're not even halfway through the season yet. And we're already close to halfway point of the actual arc from the actual series. I wouldn't be surprised, though, if next week's episode would finish up Chapter 97 and probably go to Chapter 100, which a lot of big epic stuff happens at one. It's distinctly possible, because this is one mostly covered, like, pretty much, like, I would say... I would say they cover like one. I would say the chapters for that episode. I would say it's pretty much half of chapter 94. For 95, it's pretty much the rest of the chapter. 96 is the only one that actually gets a full chapter adaptation, though it does skip some stuff. And 97, they got almost the entire thing, except for the last 10 pages, which probably will take up the first few minutes of the very next episode. Yeah, though, even though we are breezing along this arc, but it's really good so far, and I'm thoroughly enjoying it. And I like the fact we're still building up to the big epic thing we're going to see off where basically we're going to soon get up to where I started to review the actual manga, which when I started reviewing the manga a couple years ago, I started with chapter 102, and I haven't looked back basically of not reviewing it. Yep. But not much else to say about this episode. Really good. Can't wait for next week's episode, which will happen the 28th. So, interesting though, during the first month they already got through the first 4 episodes. And with 16 episodes, so it's kind of saying the season will probably end after just 4 months. It's possible, though. I'm still hoping that we might get more episodes for this season because there's still plenty of material they could adapt, but hopefully they don't rush it. I hope to God they don't, because don't rush it. There's plenty of material you can do for an entire episode. Just take your time. And please, just increase the episode count map up, please. Like, there's nothing wrong with Studio. I think they did a good job with the first 2 seasons. I mean, the first seasons are really good. The only problem with the second season was how short it was. Third season, fantastic. Though I do agree with the opinion that the animation did receive a slight dip in quality, because some people who work on it did work on a movie, and they work in the Vinland Saga series, which I have not watched that series yet. I have heard the series is good, and I plan on watching it soon, but I want to read the manga first. And hopefully there's going to be an English dub for it. I hope to God there is. Even though apparently for some reason they put it Amazon Prime for some reason, instead of, giving the Funimation. That would have been quite nice, but no, give it Amazon Prime. A streaming service doesn't have a dub studio as far as I can tell. Yeah. But yeah, that's particularly it for this particular review. I don't have any more plans to do my videos tonight. Now in the case of my next video will probably tomorrow for my review of Black Clover. Yep. But until the next video. Bye.